This week, we are taking a close look at the process of grieving loved ones and the supports in place for people experiencing grief. Now, when a loved one dies, someone usually needs to plan a funeral or some sort of service and help get their affairs in order. Those are more burdens amid a lot of sadness. Joining us now to share how funeral homes help is Nicole Webb. She's the location manager for Glenhaven Memorial Chapel in East Vancouver. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, when it comes to your work, how do you support families going through, first of all, the logistics of planning a service, whatever they decide to do and come to you?
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into planning a service. Just from the moment that your loved one passes, there's phone calls to start making, and how do you get them from a hospital into the care of a funeral home? Do we want a service or do we want just something nice and basic? So what we do is we walk them through that process from the very first moment that they contact us, just give them the information to help kind of ease their mind and kind of what the next steps are that they can expect through this process.
It's an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people at the best of times when they're living, but when it comes to death, money is a factor because funerals can be and services can be expensive.
Absolutely.
How do you raise that?
So what we do is we're very open with pricing. We have pricing to fit everybody's needs. We have services that start at about $4,000 at our location, and what that would include would be a basic cremation. We would help to register with vital statistics. We would, make sure that we have everything in order for you to take your loved one and bring them home or to a cemetery afterwards. But we also have options for families where they may want an elaborate celebration, and those prices are going to differ depending on what their needs are.
Have you seen costs rise like a lot of other businesses?
Yeah, costs are something that are always a factor, right? And costs go up. We haven't really seen anything come down. But the lovely thing about that is we do have a program where you can pre-arrange your funerals. It helps because it gets that conversation started. Your families and your friends then have an opportunity to know what it is you want. Do you want burial or cremation? Do you want a service or a viewing? And you can put those onto plans where you can pay for them throughout, so it also takes the financial burden off of your family and your loved ones. They don't have to worry about that when the time comes.
Can you do it in installments as well?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can. In fact, I pre-arranged myself, and it's been the best thing that I've ever done.
When it comes to some more personal touches, we talked a lot about logistics and money. What are the things that you find satisfaction in when it comes to learning about people?
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite parts of the job, is you get an opportunity to sit down with somebody and form a connection, and you learn about their loved one. So the stories of who they were, what hobbies did they have? What music did they love? What represents who they are? And how can we bring that into a service within such a short time, but still represent them as a whole?
Nicole Webb, we really appreciate your time and your expertise. Thanks for walking us through a difficult thing with a lot of clarity. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having me.